Hey everyone, and welcome back. We love to go deep on those kind of out there fitness trends, the ones that really make you think, and today is no exception. We're diving into slow jogging.
And I have a feeling some of you are already intrigued because, well, it does sound a little counterintuitive, right? Slow jogging for fitness. But that's what makes today's deep dive so interesting. We've got a stack of research articles, personal stories, all suggesting that slowing down could be the key to unlocking a fitter and happier you.
It really does challenge that whole no pain, no gain mentality that's so ingrained in fitness culture.
It really does. And you know what I found fascinating? It's not just some new age fitness fad. Slow jogging is actually grounded in some pretty solid science.
Okay, so walk me through it. What's the science behind taking it slow?
Well, it all starts with understanding how your muscles work. You see, there are these things called slow twitch muscle fibers, and they're like your body's long distance runners. They're built for endurance, not speed, and they thrive on a lower intensity effort.
So even though you're moving at a slower pace, your body is actually working smarter, not harder.
You got it. And because you're not constantly pounding the pavement, slow jogging is incredibly gentle on your joints. It's like the difference between a leisurely stroll in the park and sprinting on concrete. Your knees will definitely thank you down the line.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
But what about calorie burn? I mean, if we're talking about efficiency, wouldn't a brisk walk burn more calories than a slow jog?
You'd think so, wouldn't you? But here's where slow jogging throws us a curveball. Even at a pace slower than some walkers, it can actually torch more calories.
Really? How is that even possible?
Because it's not just about how fast you're going, it's about how your body is generating that energy. Slow jogging, when done right, taps into your aerobic system, which is a much more efficient way to burn fat for fuel.
So it's like comparing a fuel-efficient car to a gas guzzler. Slow jogging is that fuel-efficient car. It can go the distance on a single tank, while those high-intensity workouts, they burn through energy super quick.
Exactly. And that's a big part of why slow jogging is gaining traction. It's not about short bursts of intense effort, it's about building sustainable habits.
This is all making sense, but let's get practical for a second.
Mm.
How do you actually do slow jogging? I mean, how slow are we talking here?
Well, there's no magic number. And that's something the articles emphasized. It's all about finding what's known as your Nico pace.
Nico pace. Okay, now you have to tell me more. What is that?
Picture this. You're jogging at a pace where you could hold a conversation, maybe even crack a smile. That's the Nico pace. It's not about speed or distance. It's about effort and enjoyment.
So like the opposite of that feeling when you're pushing yourself to the limit, gasping for air, about to pass out.
Exactly. Slow jogging is all about finding that sweet spot where you're challenging yourself enough to reap the benefits, but not so much that you dread it. And one of the individuals we read about, Chris Abraham, his story really highlights how unique that pace can be for each person.
I always love a good personal story. It makes these concepts so much more relatable.
Yeah.
So what was Chris's experience with finding his Nico pace?
So tell me more about Chris and his Nico pace. What made his story stand out?
Well, Chris began his fitness journey at over 350 pounds. Walking was tough for him, let alone running. Wow. Yeah, I can imagine traditional running programs probably felt impossible.
Exactly. But slow jogging let him find his own rhythm, a pace where he could jog comfortably and actually enjoy it.
And I'm guessing that's when things really started to change for him.
Absolutely. As he kept at it, the weight started to come off and his confidence just soared.
That's amazing. What a great example of slow and steady wins the race.
It really is. You see, our bodies are incredible at adapting, but when we push too hard too fast, we risk getting hurt or just burning out. Slow jogging, it's all about sustainability.
Makes sense. So it's less about quick fixes and more about making exercise a natural part of your life.
Exactly. By staying in that Nico pace, you're teaching your body to become a fat-burning machine, building endurance and turning exercise into a habit, not a chore.
I love that. Instead of forcing ourselves to do something we hate, we find a way to enjoy the process.
Precisely. And that actually reminds me of another concept the articles touched on, MAF training. Have you heard of it?
MAF training? Vaguely. A little refresher wouldn't hurt, though.
Sure. So MAF stands for Maximum Aerobic Function Training. And it's kind of like slow jogging's cousin. It's all about exercising, running, swimming, cycling, whatever, while staying within a specific heart rate zone.
So it's about finding that sweet spot where you're working hard enough to get results, but not overdoing it.
You got it. And the cool thing is there's a super easy way to calculate your MAF heart rate. You just take 180 minus your age.
Okay, that is pretty simple. So someone who's 40 years old, their MAF heart rate would be 140 beats per minute.
Exactly. And by staying within that zone, you're essentially training your body to become a fat-burning machine.
I'm starting to see why slow jogging and MAF training are getting so much buzz. But beyond the physical benefits like weight loss and fat burning, what other results are we talking about?
Well, the research points to a whole range of benefits. Better heart health, lower risk of chronic diseases, improved mood, more energy, you name it.
Wow, that's impressive. Those are some pretty compelling reasons to give it a try.
Right. And you know, one thing that really struck me when reading these articles was the emphasis on mental well-being.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
When you're not constantly pushing yourself to the max, you probably have more mental space to actually enjoy the experience.
It's true. With those high-intensity workouts, it's easy to get caught up in chasing external goals, faster times, longer distances, and forget about the joy of movement.
Yeah, it's like somewhere along the way we forgot that moving our bodies is supposed to feel good.
Absolutely. And you know what's interesting? This whole idea of slowing down, finding joy in the process, it's not just limited to fitness. It's something we can apply to so many areas of our lives.
Really? Like what?
Well, take work, for example. There's this constant pressure to be on, to be productive, to be crushing it all the time. But what if, instead of burning ourselves out, we approached our work with a little bit of that Nico Nico spirit?
I like where you're going with this. So instead of always being in hustle mode, we allow ourselves to slow down, enjoy the process, even find those little moments of joy in the everyday grind.
You got it. It's about finding a pace that's sustainable, a way to show up fully in all areas of our lives, not just on the track or in the gym.
So it's not about abandoning ambition or drive. It's more about channeling that energy in a way that feels both fulfilling and, doable.
Exactly. And that brings us right back to slow jogging. Because at its core, it's not just a workout, it's a philosophy, a way of approaching life with more intention, more balance, and yeah, more joy.
It's about rediscovering the pleasure of movement, the simple act of putting one foot in front of the other, without the pressure of having to hit a certain pace or distance.
And you know, one of the articles mentioned how slow jogging can almost be a form of meditation. And there was this quote that really stuck with me. It's not about clearing your mind, it's about letting your mind clear itself.
Wow, that's really powerful. And it makes me think, what would happen if we applied that same principle to other areas of our lives? Instead of forcing solutions or rushing to the finish line, what if we just allowed ourselves to slow down, take a breath, and trust that things will work out?
That's a great question to sit with. And personally, it's something I try to remind myself of whenever I hit a roadblock in my own life. Whether it's writer's block, a tough decision, or even just a stressful day. Slow down, tune in, and trust the process.
Because sometimes the most incredible journeys start with a single mindful step.
And hey, you might even find yourself cracking a smile along the way.
Love it. Well, that's about all the time we have for today's deep dive on slow jogging. But if you're feeling inspired to lace up those shoes and discover your own Nico Nico pace, all the research, the inspiring stories, they're waiting for you in your deep dive source material.
Happy jogging, everyone.